Ray Harryhausen, creator and wrangler of countless iconic movie creatures. And, to my mind at least, a staple of childhood Sunday afternoons and bank holidays. I remember seeing in the Radio Times Harryhausen's name so synonymous with monster magic, and feeling the absolute assurance that for a couple of hours I'd be awash with wonder. It didn't matter to me who directed or starred, or that Bernard Herrmann wrote the score. What mattered was Harryhausen's monsters. My holiday matinee go-tos were Jason and the Argonauts from 1963, Clash of the Titans from 1981, and a couple of Sinbad's voyages, both his seventh in 1958 and his golden in 1973. With the Sinbad films, I wasn't even sure which was which. It didn't matter. The plots were relatively interchangeable for little me anyway, and it was the creature set pieces I was tuning in for, not the intricacies of Middle Eastern dynastic politics.
Our country is being choked alive by a great evil visited upon us by Prince Kura.
I've recently said Ray Harryhausen to people and been met with curious yet blank expressions. But the moment you say sword-fighting skeletons, their faces light up with recognition and memories of being mesmerised in front of the TV as children. For kids, there's just something about those epic myths with which Harryhausen spent so much time. Worlds filled with princesses and pirates, magicians and genies, and of course, gods and monsters. As a child, I may have read Dynamation in the opening credits, but at the time, it meant little to me. I just loved how the films looked and how they made me feel. Now I know Dynamation is a technique created by Harryhausen that makes magic like this possible. Here's a perfect example from the seventh voyage of Sinbad. Kerwin Matthews, playing Sinbad, had to master this precise choreography as he had a sword fight with nothing. The skeleton was then shot and animated separately, frame by frame, and sandwiched between a rear projection in the background and a pane of matted glass in the foreground. This groundbreaking mix of stop-motion animation and trick photography makes us think we're seeing a man fight a skeleton that's come to life. Sorry to pull back the curtain. Stop motion of the kind that Harryhausen spearheaded is so specific in its aesthetic. The creatures appear real, but also, importantly, not real. Take a look at this stunning sequence from Jason and the Argonauts, as the Titan Talos picks up the Argo and tips the crew into the sea. Ray Harryhausen conceived, handmade, and painstakingly animated the vast majority of the creatures in his films, and they're so beautifully realised. I mean, Talos just is bronze, isn't he? So how does he move? I remember having a similar reaction when I first saw Jurassic Park in '93. The sudden, thrilling, and terrifying realisation that dinosaurs are real. As I've said, it's magic. The melding of live action and Harryhausen's creatures has enraptured us for generations, creating scenes that shouldn't be possible, but somehow come to life before our eyes. The impact of these moments likely explains why later I fell so deeply for films like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Gremlins, The Evil Dead, and Basket Case, even Who Framed Roger Rabbit and The Lord of the Rings. Rewatching the Ray Harryhausen classics as an adult, it's more obvious that some of the hair and makeup looks a little ropey, some of the acting may be a bit hammy, and some of the casting choices are certainly problematic. But Harryhausen's effects remain delightful to behold. Revisiting these moments now still brings me such joy. Jason's harpies, the Hydra, and the skeleton army, Sinbad's wooden figurehead, and the goddess Kali dancing, the giant two-headed bird egg, the Cyclops, this guy might be my favourite, and in Clash of the Titans, Pegasus, the Kraken, the Vulture, Medusa, and what child wouldn't be enchanted by Bubo, the mechanical owl? Harryhausen's creatures are perhaps never more wonderful than when two of them square up, like these guys in The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, or Medusa's severed head defeating the Kraken in Clash of the Titans. Long before the prospect of a CGI blockbuster like Godzilla vs. Kong, this is what we lived for on Bank Holiday Mondays in front of the box, when we just wanted to watch two giants having a mythological punch-up. My bread and butter nowadays is horror, and there's no doubt in my mind that Harryhausen's darker moments had some formative effect on my movie-loving brain. There's something about Talos's hollow, lifeless eyes and the shock of him appearing around the side of that cliff, and the tension created by Medusa's shadows as Perseus and his men enter her lair. These sequences still thrill me. I should really be thanking Harryhausen for sowing a seed that has grown into such an enriching part of my life. The fact is, little me loved these films because Ray Harryhausen, through some kind of magical alchemy, breathed life into my dreams and my nightmares and presented them to me on drizzly Good Fridays to my absolute delight. And honestly, the woman I am today owes much to Grandpa Ray for taking me on such epic journeys as a child, because film means so much to me. And Ray Harryhausen means so much to film.